Madhukar, your host. I'm an author of the book Three Culprits: Laziness, Fear, and Doubt. I'm also an elite performance mentor for visionary leaders, a parenting coach, where I focus on parents of 5 to 15-year-olds. And today I have with me an amazing parenting coach, a founder of Tulsi Kindergarten, who uses the Waldorf way to guide the parents and the children. Divya, who's here with me. Thank you, Divya, for taking time out. I'm really glad that you could do this session. And we did have an earlier session as well where we had to
Right.
probably call off, but today we are hoping that we are going to give you some amazing insights. So do stay tuned in till the end and ask your questions on whichever platform you're viewing. It comes up to us, and so we can continue to help you and guide you. And today's session is going to focus on the early years, which Divya is going to be talking about, especially children between from birth to 7 years, and I will be focusing a little bit on after that. And Divya has got some amazing rules, what she called the 5 golden rules, and I'm excited to hear about that. But firstly, thank you for all the viewers who are logging in live to watch this. Thank you so much for taking this time out. And I'm equally excited about this program. And Divya is, as we were talking in the back room. Divya, thank you for taking time out. Your first comments.
Thanks, Preetham. Thanks for inviting me to this platform. I feel privileged to be here with you. And yes, let's just go ahead.
Super. I'm sure our audience is waiting to know also about the 5 golden rules that I just spoke about. Yeah.
Yes.
And what would what are these golden rules before even getting on to what those golden rules are, and
Yeah.
let's on that.
So, see, Waldorf is like an ocean. You go into it, and it is very deep. So here, and I have worked with many mentors who have, wonderful mentors across the globe who have taught me Waldorf in different ways and different stages. So when I met Hele Heckman, who runs a kindergarten in Copenhagen, she has, simplified Waldorf for parenting, and she has written a book called Five Golden Keys of Parenting. And she is the one who started talking about slow parenting and why we need to slow down. So inspired by her book and her, mentoring, I started Slow Down Mama program for parents.
Okay.
This is when COVID hit us and all
Mhm.
the children were locked up at home, and parents were very very anxious that their children are not learning enough, they're not growing in an appropriate way. So what do we do with them at home? And parents being busy with their work front, home front, they didn't know what to do with their children at home. So that is when I started these sessions called Slow Down Mama, and each topic would take an hour.
Mm.
So here we I have just simplified it just to bring it, all the five topics in an hour's time. So I'll try to do my best, but I would suggest that parents do enroll for this elaborate program to benefit more. So these five golden rules. Let me begin with the first
Yep.
golden rule. Firstly, little bit background about Waldorf. Waldorf is started by Rudolf Steiner, who's born in Austria, and when like he had a lot of followers under him, and when the first world war ended, there was this about industrialization. The industrialization has just started, and there was this factory called Waldorf cigarette factory, and the workers in the factory needed a child care for their children.
Mm.
So that is when Emil Malt, who's the founder of the Waldorf cigarette factory, approached Steiner, and he said, if he can provide a school or a space for these children to be taken care and some education must be given to them. So
Okay.
he brought together people and he started the first Waldorf school in Stuttgart in 1919. And the Waldorf philosophy itself belongs to the general philosophy called anthroposophy, which means just simplified means wisdom of human being. So, under this wisdom of human being, Rudolf Steiner has spoken about child development, 0 to 7 years, 7 to 14, 14 to 21, and so on, in 7-year phases. So, the early child education, we focus on 0 to 7 years. And under this, I'm going to talk about the 5 golden rules. So, the first golden rule we are talking about is movement.
Okay.
Movement in terms of free movement, how the child is, just being himself without unrestricted movement, which also happens to be the primary way of achieving the milestones at an early age. So there are different milestones. The child has to be put on the floor. He has to start moving his hands, legs to move into the next milestone, which is rolling over, and then move into crawling, sitting down, standing up, and start begin to walk. So all this happens within a year's time, and a child has to have free space to move around to achieve all this in a year's time. And after the first year, movement is again very, very essential. Running around, jumping, climbing the furniture, climbing the stairs, climbing window railings. So these things help in their speech development, which is the target for year two. And today we are seeing that many children are coming with speech delays. So I have 15 years experience in Waldorf, Preetham. And when I began my career, we had about 15-20% children who came with speech delays. But today we can see 50 to 60% children who come with sensory issues and speech delays. Primary reason being they've not moved enough. They've not moved in the right environment. They've not had the right sensorial experiences, which they're supposed to. So 50, 60 years ago, there was no concept of kindergarten. Children were left at home, they were left on floor, they played with soil, they played climbing the trees, there was water, and they were exposed to all kinds of natural elements. But today's children are locked up within the four walls. We are showing them screen time, and we are engaging them through screen time, video games, battery operated toys, and the child is becoming less active. He's not moving enough,
Absolutely.
and which is causing the speech delay in children.
Absolutely. I think I couldn't agree more. And the first time I came into Steiner philosophy, the anthroposophy, it's been now 12 years, close to that. And it has always amazed me, the beauty of the philosophy and the changes, the deep changes that it makes in human beings. And more importantly, the well-roundedness in children, right?
Yeah.
And I think you hit the thing on the spot about the movement being so central. And
Yes.
my own mission is on will strength, which starts at that. And how central it is to create this movement. And we as adults itself, we have reduced our movements today, right? We are sitting in front of TVs,
Right.
in front of
Yes.
computers, and we are not seeing. And children, when you put them, who are naturally supposed to be in a state of movement, which is their natural state, we are already putting them in schools where you're probably seated for long hours, and on top of that come home, sit on the couch again with TV or gadgets, and it's
Right.
completely kind of damaging. In fact, Divya, you have this toys program, or rather, which is a very popular program among parents of young parents. And could you share some more about this?
Yeah. So when in India, when I conceived my daughter, when she was born, there was, when I looked up for toys and storybooks for her, I
Okay.
could find that there were only a lot of junk that is available in the market.
Mhm.
There was this Chota Beam or Princess book, or Barbie book and Barbie toys and plastic Legos.
Yeah.
So the market was filled with junk, and on social media, people were only sharing about these junk to each other, how you can engage the child through educational toys. So then I felt a need to bring consciousness into these this kind of parenting style, and that is when I started my little bookshop, which was a space where I curated Indian storybooks, and open-ended toys.
Hmm.
So when we speak about storybooks, when I say that Indian authors
Hmm.
write them, it is more relevant to our own local culture.
Okay.
The children can relate to these stories rather than a Peter climbing a hill, or a snow covered mountains or snow covered trees, pine trees, oak trees, and penguin and things like that, which children don't see on daily basis.
Hmm.
What children see is something outside their window, is like a mango tree, a neem tree, a
Hmm.
dog, crow.
Hmm.
These are the local things that we see around us, and these are the stories that must be told to children.
Hmm.
So I will show you some of the story books which are relevant for children,
Okay.
Indian children. So this is one famous book on my store, which is called Mala Silver Anklets.
Okay.
So every child in the house grows up with anklets,
Hmm.
and this is called Where is Amma?
Okay.
So you can see the illustrations are very, very much, Indian. There is like a Indian dining, Indian living room, and there is a Indian kitchen. So these are the things. The illustrations also very much Indian,
Hmm.
which is compared to the storybooks that we get in the market,
Okay.
which has a very Western kind of influence on them. So the
What is
storybooks
the
are
age,
like.
what is the age group of with the children you would recommend for these books?
So these storybooks you can start from 1 year, and they go up till 7 to 8 years. Also, they'd like to just flip the pages and
Hmm.
just see through the pictures, not even understand the story,
Hmm.
because the pictures are so rich. The Indian illustrators are so beautifully done these watercolor illustrations, that just by seeing the picture book you can understand the story.
Hmm. Super. And
Yeah.
I'm really glad you're bringing this because sometimes we don't appreciate the visual side of
Yes.
versus the textual. In fact, I had a child, a parent asking me that his child, there has been less growth in the child. Very intelligent, bright child. She's a 16-year-old girl, and he was a little concerned that she hasn't grown up and things like that. I asked him, when did she start reading? And when we started thinking, she started reading very early, 5-year old. And so always wanting to read. It's like, it's good as parents, our intent is always good. I always say, parents, your intent is always good. It's only a matter of timing, timing the right thing at the
Yeah.
right place. And that's what this whole parenting is about, right? And before we continue, I would like to thank all the viewers who are watching in live. Thank you so much for taking time out. Today, you're going to get a lot of practical wisdom and some mind blowing insights into parenting, something that Divya and me combined together. We have over 25, 30 years of experience of working with children and young adults together. And I'm hoping that we can give you those breakthroughs. But more than that, please do ask your questions. We'll be happy to take it together
Yes.
and give you those answers. And and I would also like to point that I have shared the link for my little bookshop where Divya gives some amazing insights into for children the kind of toys that they could play with, and she herself gives some guidance. Please do click the link and join. It must have come up in whichever platform you're watching, and it's called facebook.com, and the facebook.com search for groups my little bookshop, and do sign up and follow her page, and she's got some amazing things there. And
Yeah.
I'm also going to share my YouTube channel, which I'm trying to now use for parenting and focus on the parenting side, because I get a lot of questions from parents, both from India, US, and Europe. And I'm trying to give those guidances for parents. So please do follow me there, and you'll get some amazing insights. Thank you, Divya. Continuing, um,
Yeah.
I have a question. Where is Amma was such a fave when my little man was a toddler, brings back such fond memories. I mean,
Yeah.
probably somebody who's read and was commenting. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yes.
And Divya, before we continue on to our other golden keys, right, and sharing some insights, uh, what is the right age to start schooling, right? I know there are general trend is there, general
Right.
things are there. But as a to make them into well-rounded human, what is a good age?
See, earlier, when when I started my career, we would say 3+ is more appropriate. We want the children to spend more time with the parents. But over the 15 years, the trend of parents being at home has changed.
Mm.
With both parents, of course it has changed long before, but we have seen more in the recent times
Yeah.
that both parents are working when there is no one to take care of the child. Either there is a nanny, or there is a grandparents who are taking care of children, who are not able to give
Mm.
enough what a parent could. They're not
Mm.
able to give what a parent can give. Not They
Yeah.
cannot run around the child, keep the child actively engaged.
Mm.
So now also after COVID, we see that children are coming with a lot of stranger anxiety. They're not mingling with other children, or they're not talking to adults. So we recommend that 2 is a good age, at least coming thrice in a week to a kindergarten kind of space, where a child is not forced with a lot of sensory overstimulation, but where a child can just come and play in the sand, just sing some songs, and have some fruit time. A very basic program for children is good.
Okay.
By schooling, we do not mean that a child must start reading and writing. That is not what schooling is. For a young child, a schooling is about meeting new people, making attempts to make, build relationships. What is caring? What is sharing? And we parents are very anxious. We say hello, say sorry, say thank you. These are not things that a child will learn by you teaching them theoretically. By experiencing what is caring and what is sharing, by seeing two children share with each other, is when a child will start learning these things.
Absolutely.
So, I would recommend a simple program, a nature based kindergarten program for a child who's, just crossed 2 years. Otherwise, I would say 3 years is a good time. But if you're looking at, the whole aspect of schooling and academics, now our new education policy also says that a child should complete 6 years before going into grade one. So I would say 6 years of kindergarten is, say probably
Peace.
4 years, four to
Right.
3 years of kindergarten is a good
Space.
time.
Yeah. Superb. And I have another comment from Heli Ekman. Simplicity is so important. What is your advice for the daily rhythm?
Yeah, Hele is our mentor. She is here. We should be privileged to have her here.
Yes. Superb, Helen. Please, Hele, please do comment anything that you could share insights. It would be wonderful to do have that.
Yes, so I have learned so much about daily rhythm from her, and then I'm going to share about that as well. So the
Superb.
next topic that we are going to talk about is nutrition,
Yep.
which is our meals, our snacks, and everything to do with eating. So, firstly, we advise that children eat, as a family. We eat local food, seasonal food, freshly cooked food, compared to that what comes in packaged,
Mm.
and which says that it is fresh, wholesome. Don't go by these labels, but what you cook at home. And if, for example, in our South India, our idli, dosa, akki roti, ragi, these are the things that should be staple food at home, not cornflakes or bread or an English breakfast. So these are the things which also have a lot of texture in them, different kinds of taste in them, and very mild and gentle on the stomach. That is more relevant for our gut to digest. So include local varieties of grains, and that is what you introduce to your
Mm.
children. And seasonal is a very big thing. We get watermelon right through the year, but eat watermelons during summer, mangoes
Yep.
during summer. And winter foods are very different, and it is very very evident in a place like India. Of
Mhm.
course, when you go abroad, you get everything all around the year, but in India also that trend is growing these days.
Yeah.
So
So I think, yeah, absolutely, because nutrition is something we all are aware, and the parents are usually kind of in a place of stress when the child doesn't eat, and they try to probably ask the child what they want to eat, and it's like a rabbit hole after that, right? And then uh, the child will not eat that. Even if you can provide that, it's a difficult situation. Every day they're going to be asking and throwing tantrums. In fact, for young children, the best way is the parent already decides what is the
Yes.
menu for the house, right? Don't give them too much option. Okay, if it's that one off when you're traveling out, you're going somewhere, but as a whole, the parent, you're calling the shots, especially for young children, below 10 years. I would say that control the direction of the you're like really the director of the movie, and you're calling the shots, and doing that. And before we continue again, I'd like to thank the viewers who are watching in live and those who may watch recorded. I hope you can ask your questions, and we would be happy to take this up right now, especially if you have children. And just for us to know, before we move on to our second thing and third thing, how many of you are facing challenges with nutrition? Type type yes in the chat box, so we know that okay, these are the parents who are, or if your child is probably always with media and not moving much the way you would like it, then type digital media. Type digital media or type nutrition, so we know how many of you are having these challenges, so we can also probably guide you and tell more about it or talk more about it. And before we continue, I'd just like to thank Divya. Divya is the founder of Tulsi World of Kindergarten, and she's been a parent. She's the teacher for young kids, and she's been involved in this space for a long time. And I'm really happy to have her. And just to reintroduce myself, I'm Captain Preetham Madhukar. For those who may have joined in late, I'm a elite performance coach for visionary leaders and also a parenting coach, focusing on 5 to 15-year-old parents, and helping them really make sense of this parenting journey, giving them that clarity. Thank you so much. Sangeeta says yes, superb. And continuing, Divya, let's go to the third rule. I'm sure everybody is excited to know that.
Yes, I just complete a few more things about nutrition,
Nutrition.
Preetham. See, we get a lot of these instant powders for babies these days.
Yeah.
Compared to what our ancestors made, we would soak ragi and sprout them and make them in front of children, and the whole family was involved in making these kind of foods, compared to what is made in machine, powdered and instant pancake mixes. These are the things that modern parents are opting for, and really it is marketed as a healthy product, healthy drink, mix of 9 millets into a healthy drink. Why do you want to give 9 millets? Give one millet at a time, one grain at a time. That is, a child can relish, understand the taste of rice separately, understand what is ragi, understand what is bajra. Let the child understand each flavor separately. It should not be given in a mixed form. So there is so much that everyone is talking about nutrition, yet there is a completely opposite philosophy which is talking about raw vegan and soaked oats, overnight oats, and that should be your breakfast. It is completely contradicting what is eating local mean for us. So please look into your own local diets and bring those kind of food into your lifestyle, rather than going with what is fancier and what is modern. So that is about the nutrition. Of course, we can talk a lot about it.
Yeah.
And we include these kind of mealtime rituals in our kindergartens, world of kindergartens. We have a elaborate fruit time where we relish mangoes in mango season, watermelons. We relish grapes in when the grapes come. Similarly, we also have food routines where we eat local variety of rice, sambar, and a palya in Karnataka. a curd rice, which is relevant to our culture. Similarly, when you go to Tamil Nadu or Maharashtra, their staple food will be totally different from what we eat in Karnataka. So
Absolutely.
we bring a lot of local food and local culture into the world of kindergarten, which is something I wanted to, tell everyone who's watching us.
In fact, I have a small thing that I tell the parents when they come to me on nutrition. Now, if you forget what to eat and all that, just look back to your grandparents,
Yes,
grandmother, grandfather, what they ate, just eat that. Okay, common sense. And also about not to overcomplicate things. Just ask a question: did they eat the junk food? If not, don't eat it. Right?
yeah,
Obviously today we are living in a different space, we would like to enjoy those kind of things, but keep it to less. If I have to give you a number, let it be less than 20% of your time for a week, probably the weekend, but 5 days a week you should be eating what your
yes,
grandparents ate. And for children especially, right? Even
right,
for oneself, even as adults we need to do that to stay healthy, but for children especially in their growing years it's even more important. I have, before we go on to the other golden rules, the remaining three, there are two, three questions which we'll take up. In fact, there are more. This is from Hele, which I actually missed. What is your advice for the daily rhythm?
yeah. We're going to talk about the rhythm. The
It's coming
next
up.
topic is rhythm of the day.
Then we will, which is digital media. Anjali says digital media, yes, and very less movement. Okay, it's like that is the issue of today, where people are struggling with this challenge. Digital media has become so accessible, it's easy, and sometimes we as parents also can get frustrated. Sometimes we are tired. The child is probably throwing a tantrum or some fit, and we just want to just pass the phone or ask them to switch on
Right.
the TV, just so that it gives a break. In fact, I have written a book called Three Culprits: Laziness, Fear, and Doubt. I'm going to share a link. It's available on Amazon. This is for mainly adults, it's not for children, because as parents, if we are not going to take care of ourselves and not have a good daily rhythm, it's going to show in our children. Okay. In fact, this book is everything about daily rhythm, creating those winning habits, and having those things. I share a lot of strategies, a lot of tactics, and of course, stories to inspire through my clients' work, and the tactics of what to do every day, right? So, this is called Three Culprits: Laziness and Fear and Doubt. I think every parent should read that. More of centering and finding a center and balance, so that you can be a better parent for your child, right? And also Hele is saying also being together, cooking and sit down together, the need of main dishes and small slack. Absolutely, Hele. I think you already made a wonderful comment. Cooking together, it's so rare these days. It's a beautiful time, way of bonding,
Yes.
and sitting together for a meal. Even if one meal, if families can sit together, it can be a game changer. And the need for main dishes and small snack. I think in India, we are all used to having such meals where you had some dal chawal, roti sabzi, and you had something else on the side. Very simple it used to be, but wholesome. I'm sure all the parents, if you're from the generations, you have a child, you probably know what we're talking. Okay, so get back to the roots, go back to the roots.
Okay, so the next topic is the rhythm.
Yeah.
So we have spoken about movement, nutrition. Now we're talking about the rhythm. So
Hmm.
rhythm is nothing but structuring your day, structuring your child's day, having a routine which is repetitive in nature. So when a set of familiar actions are repeating, then the child is comprehending what is going around in his environment, rather than putting it in a very theoretically or intellectual way. So allow they do not perceive the world intellectually, children. So it does not help to explain things and say that today we are going to do this or that. But whereas when you repeat a set of actions and routines, then they start understanding that after mealtime is my playtime, or now I wake up and I have my milk or I have my fruits. So that is it, that becomes like a base for habit formation which remains all through their life. So give them a rich routine, and this structure of the day um, has to be in a, planned in a way that a child is sitting for about 10 to 15 minutes. That is his attention span. A meal time, or a probably say activity, coloring or painting that you do with a child. 10 minutes hardly a child can play, or can a child who is 18 months, 2 years to up until 3 years, they can hardly sit for about 15 minutes and do a coloring or a worksheet or a any kind of engagement. When you even give them household chores like putting your dishes away or putting your laundry away, they can do it. That is also play for them. So they will do it for 10-15 minutes, and then they need this free time, free play. So we structure our day in the kindergarten in a way that it is 10 minutes they sit, 10 to 15 minutes we do circle time, story time, or it is a meal time. So these are all short times, but they have longer breathing out time, which is outdoor free play or indoor free play. So we structure, and I would say that you also try to, as a parent, try to structure your home routine in such a way that a child can be engaged for some time. Engaging also is very important. Too much of free play also, it overwhelms them. They don't know, they don't get any sense of direction. And they need that a little bit of bonding with you, sitting with you, reading a storybook, and then they again go back to their play.
Mm.
So coming together and letting them go, coming together and letting them go is a very important way to structure your day.
Yeah.
Even for adults, I think that is a very that's an appropriate way of when you're at work, when
Hmm.
you sit down for a long time, you want to feel like getting up and stretching and moving. So for children it is even more bigger for them. So in the mainstream kindergartens, what happens is a child is meant to be sitting and listening to the teacher or looking at the blackboard for about 40 45 minutes, or even say 1 hour. And then if a child is not sitting, then you label the child as ADHD, or very hyperactive child, or the child, you start labeling the child with different terms these days. But what in Waldorf scenario, it's not like that. So it is, a child is not meant to sit for a longer time. So don't even look at creative ways to engage your child for more than 20 minutes. So that is about the rhythm of the day.
Super.
And another thing that I would want to say is feeling secure. A child feels a lot of security and feels safe when there is a rhythm of the day, when there is a routine. So that is very important for a long term habit formation, or feeling secure, or feel trusting another person.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. In fact, just to add to what you already shared, I mean, amazing points. Was like, as parents, we have to take the onus of setting the discipline in the
Yes.
child's life, in our daily routine. We can't allow the child, the I'm talking young children, okay, under 7, 8, 10 years, and maybe for older ones, you can give them a little bit of luxury of tweaking some things. But a good discipline lays the foundation for them on how they become as an individual in their 20s. Okay, most of my work was with young adult space in my initial years, and then teen years. And then I started realizing that if we could sort this problem out in the middle years, right? The as the world of says, between 7 to 14, or I would say between say 5 to 15 in some ways, you would have a much better, they would still go through some issues, life is like that, ups and downs, but they will be able to manage them much more better, much more smoothly, more confidently as human, and not have these challenges which I generally encounter when they come as young adults to me. So that is the most important thing, because parenting, you can't see, it's a long gestation
Yes.
project, right? It's not going to tell you anything today. If you do bad thing, nothing is going to happen today. The
Right.
price is paid forward, right? If you do good things, you don't know about it. Price is paid forward, right? So become mindful. That's why get insights, uh, get to know people. I'm going to be also sharing a link for you to connect with us, and let me share that. Okay. And we would be happy to connect with you one on one. Of course, it will not be immediate, but definitely my team and Divya's team will connect with you, and we can reach out and see how we could, give probably, take a session and just guide you a little bit here and there. So it's the dialogue circle. I've shared the form. It should be available wherever you're watching. Please do click and fill up that form, and maybe when we get time, we will definitely, reach out to you and see how we could help. And before we continue, if you have questions, okay, please post your burning question, that if that was something that could somebody could guide you, validate or probably course correct. Now's the time. You are having us live. This is the opportunity to ask your burning question related to a child. You could be a teacher, you could be a parent. Drop in. Is it like a boy or a girl? What is the age, and what's your burning question? Okay, so we'd be happy to take that up. So continuing, Divya,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
what are the
I
other
would like
things?
to add a little bit more on the rhythm of the day.
Yeah.
There is also rhythm of the week and
Mm.
rhythm of the month, rhythm of the year. So then we classify the rhythm into, situations or scenarios repeating weekly, monthly, yearly. So yearly rhythms can be, in forms of seasons, festivals, which we also bring into the kindergarten, which naturally happens in our, home routines also. We celebrate festivals, we bring seasonal things into our house, like when it is raining, there's ambience in your house is different, the meals are very different, and things that you do in the rain is very different from what you do in winter and summer. So these are the things that a child also must be exposed to in a very, very subtle way, and then it becomes like a habit formation for, children when they grow up.
Yeah.
These were simple things which already exist in the Indian culture. We have a lot of festivals, and all the festivals are based on the sun's pattern, or the seasons or the farming that is happening. So these are the things that we also bring into our kindergarten as a part of curriculum, in forms of songs, in forms of food, in forms of colors and stories, so different things that we bring into kindergarten, but keeping the base as a rhythm of the, month, or rhythm of the week, and rhythm of the days, of course, there.
Yeah.
So the next important rule or important key of golden parenting is sleep.
Mm.
Sleep is also very much connected to the rhythm of the day. So when you schedule your day, you're also looking at the sleep of the child when the child is going to bed. Steiner says, we wake up with the sun, and then we, when the sun is setting, that's when our day also ends, which is not happening very evidently in today's life. We have lights, and we have brighter lights, and there is music, and there's television, there's cooking, and there's work that is happening more active. The environment becomes more active after 7 p.m., whereas it has to start shutting down. We have to start closing the day by, 6:30, 7:30, probably 8 o'clock. So then a child also understands that this is the end of the day. When we make it very active, then the child also gets very active. He becomes more awake, more hyper, and then he doesn't go to bed by, even by 11, 12. 90% of the parents that come into the kindergarten or even otherwise have this issue that my children don't sleep on time. They sleep with us at 11, 12, 1, and we have to really, rock them to sleep, or, they don't feel sleepy.
Mm.
So structuring the day again is very relevant. How you structure the child's day, has he played enough, has he had a good meal, that leads to a good sleep.
Yeah.
So sleeping, we advise all the parents that you have an early dinner, say 7 o'clock, and then by 7:30, 8 o'clock the child is in bed. So he wakes up early by, 6, 6:30. he gets enough time to play around, to do his, whatever he wants to do at home around 6:30 to 7:30. Then you start preparing the child for, a bath and breakfast, and then so he can go to school by 8:39ish. Whereas nowadays we wake up the child, we have to literally push the child from the bed, wake him up at 8:30, and by 9 o'clock everything must be done: eating, sleep, eating, bath, and getting ready. It is such a mad rush, which is also building up as an anxiety issue in children these days.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you covered those points. Sleep is number one. As a will strength coach, what I call myself, I say that your sleep will reflect in your day or
Day.
the effort. You know,
Yes.
and I've shared actually some insights in my book, Three Culprits, on setting your sleep habit well. And I also conduct these boot camps to help people build winning days and winning routines. And because I've realized that people's sleep is very important, and their how they manage their day is super important. And
Yes.
my thing go to has been the same. When parents come to me for advice, I say, unless you're ready to work on yourself, ready to work on your day, work on your the way you're working on, let's not work on the child, right?
Right.
Because I know they come when they're older to me, they're 14-year-old, 15-year-old. I say, if you're ready to work on yourself, then I'm your guy. I will help you there, right? I will get you to that point, and we will work on the children. But that is the first thing, to become mindful of ourselves. We are not perfect, we constantly falter, and we all do those things. But to become mindful and then get up and get going, right? And sleep is number one. Like you mentioned, that everything in our universe is on a rhythm, right? The galaxies are on a rhythm, the solar system is on a rhythm, the planets are on a rhythm, we ourselves naturally are in rhythm.
Rhythm.
And one of the hacks, let me give you a hack for your sleep. The lights, okay, the white lights are known to disturb the wakefulness, the hormones which keep us awake. So switch on to warm yellow lights. Switch on to warm yellow lights, and early in the evening itself. The white lights are daytime lights. The yellow lights are the evening lights. I know people sometimes tell me, but it looks so boring, it looks so dull, and the house feels like, oh my God, it looks like we've come to a village. But the most important thing is to prepare for the night. That is how it should be. The night should dull you, should sober you down. Yes, occasional party, you want to have a weekend party,
Yes.
go ahead. But I'm telling, most of the days, you should sober down. You should be able to go into that phase. We don't have something called a sleep routine today. We don't have any process for that.
Right.
That's what Divya is probably also telling us, get that process out. Every day sleeping 10, 11, that means there is no process. What is your process is the question you need to ask. Write it down. This is the process, okay? If we are going to sleep at 10 o'clock, all of you all as parents and child, then what should happen? Work in reverse, and your
Reverse.
answers will come to you. Okay,
Yes.
superb. I think we have two more golden rules.
One more, I think.
One
It's
more.
the fourth. Yes, this is the fourth one.
Wait, let's cover up before you share. Let's wait for a thing. Let's see if there are some questions.
Yes.
And the first golden rule was about movement, okay, and how movement is so important, and to work with children, especially young children, though absolutely important. But even as they grow older, we need to keep that movement alive. We need to do that, and that's something we need to become mindful about. Are children having enough movement? Is the question you need to ask, okay, and
Yes.
what you need to do about it. The second thing was let me read nutrition.
Nutrition.
Nutrition, and
Meal time.
and the meal times, keeping that kind of, the food, keeping it local, keeping it what your parents ate, what your grandparents ate, and keeping that kind of quality. Because sometimes they're confused. There are so many researches coming up, so many information which comes up and confuses us. So go back to the roots. Eat what your grandparents ate, right? Feed your
Yes.
child what your grandparents ate for most days. Again, Don't have to make it hardcore, but most days. And
Yeah,
the
our
third thing,
mentor, sorry, our mentor, Dr. Lakshmi says,
yeah,
uh, if your grandmother approves it, then eat it.
yeah, absolutely. It's the same thing, That's what commonsensically one should do, right?
Yes.
That it's there. They say time is the greatest indicator of a successful model. Okay, if time has passed that test, automatically it beats all modern research, right? And go with that kind of thing. The third one was rhythm. We spoke about daily rhythm and how important it is for you. And the fifth one was about sleep. Sleep
Fourth
is,
one is sleep.
sorry, fourth one was sleep, and we have one more to go. And before we go there, I'm going to share some links so you can stay connected with us. And there is also a question. Okay, I think this is from a user from kids have to catch school bus by 7:30 a.m. I feel schools should start at 9:30 a.m. for younger grades instead of 8:30 a.m. Yeah, absolutely. But this is something that we cannot comment or control. It's the school, and probably something you can take up with the school. And it also depends on region to region. Maybe you're in an urban city where it's really jam packed, and for reasons you have to take. We have to also understand that we have to live in a modern world, right? We have to live in a modern world. Parents are sometimes working at night. Children have the normal school hours. These are the complexities, right? And in the complexities, how to make sense of what we do, how to
Correct.
make sense of our parenting is what we should become mindful. What can we do with the best we can, right? And I'm going to share some links, and I've already shared. And one sec. Yeah. So I've already shared some links with you all. Do connect, do stay tuned in wherever you're watching this. Do follow so you can get more such insights. Divya's Facebook handle, My Little Bookshop, she shares some amazing insights into toys and other early childhood insights. Do follow that. And I do share from an elite performance, especially as an adult and also as for parents. Okay, and how if you're a parent of a 5 to 15-year-old and beyond, even young adults, how and what you can do to improve your own quality of life and improve your parenting journey as such. And if you have questions, please do post. We are in the last 10 minutes, and before we wind up, and if you have any questions, post what is your burning question as a parent? What is your child's age? Is it a boy or a girl? And your burning question. And thank you so much for watching all this on live. We have 10 more minutes to go. And the recording will also be on the same space. You can watch it again. But now's the time to ask the live questions and make the best and of the time here. So, Divya, now for the last one. And I have another one or two follow up questions after that.
Yes.
So, what is the fifth golden rule?
So when I started my career in Waldorf, I was not married, so I was only 24 years old, and a lot of things was very practical in the kindergarten. We were learning from our mentors, and I could practically apply it and see the changes in children.
Mhm.
But when I became a parent myself, I felt that nothing makes sense. How do we bring this into, making sense and practical? How can we make this really practical, not just reading and applying it in the classroom?
Mhm.
So Slow Down Mama was about that, Preetham, where, I have experienced Waldorf and how to bring Waldorf into home, and it definitely has to do a lot with us and not with the child.
Yeah.
That is very sure, that is very very clear. It is nothing to do with the child, it is to do with us. As you become a parent, you are stepping into becoming a better human being, and not just parenting a child. It is all about yourself, your routines, your health, your lifestyle, how you're eating and what choices you make in life, so that a child just automatically imitates. There is nothing that you can teach a child, or there is no big or a right school that can train your child. So it is you, and just being yourself and making the right choices, how you become a better human being, is what a child learns from you. So when I asked my mentor the question about, making the choices in life, and, I struggle with me time, and, my work, my career, and, all these things, my relationships, she said that keep your child in the center. You have become a parent for a reason. It is your choice that you brought this child on the earth. So keep the child in center and work your life around the child. So when we talk about, struggling with playing, or, school time, so you plan your routines in such a way that a child has to be in center. We do not compromise with the child's nutrition, child's sleep, child's movement or play. So the fifth point is all about that: giving love, warmth, and care for your child just by being there, fully present for the child. Are you available for your child? Because love is not something that you can just take a child to a mall and give him your time, quality time in a mall or in a restaurant or in a, a holiday.
Yep.
It is something that has to happen on daily basis. You have to bond with the child. The love, the warmth, the touch, the care for the child has to happen on daily basis. And where can you meet the child fully present, not just, being on calls, but looking at your child and just, pretending to be there present. But am I eating with the child? Am I making that when I'm putting the child to sleep? Am I not, I shouldn't be thinking about what is on the gas stove or what is on my email, but am I fully present for the child? Can I touch the child with a lot, with that kind of warmth? That is more important. So all these things combine together, and nothing, we cannot look at rhythm as rhythm or sleep as sleep, or we can't look at movement as movement. Everything needs to, is intertwined and interrelated.
Mm.
So everything has to be put together, and one cannot be less or more. And this is about the love and warmth, that you create a safe and secure home environment for the child, where you're able to not be busy 24 hours, but you're able to give that time and bonding for the child, which is very, very essential, especially in today's lifestyle, where we are opting for, working in the night and, sleeping during the day. uh, can we look at change in our job roles, or can we little bit, amend my calls in such a way that I'm able to sit with my child for the meal time, and not just switch on the TV and give him a bowl of, rice or dal or khichdi, and the child eats looking at the television. So this is about love and warmth, because everybody knows about love and warmth, and we can buy a lot of things, but can we really give ourselves to the child? Can we really touch the child with a lot of, being present there for the child? Is my fifth topic.
Okay, wonderful, beautifully put. Again, just to add a little further, of course, the kind of time and attention you would give the child would vary across their growing years. What a child would need in the early years from a warmth would be so much of cuddling, so much of hugging, and other things. Not that the older children don't need it, but this is really the core of the heart, and really to hold the child and give them that confidence. They grow up into very confident human beings. Similarly, the kind of love and warmth you would give, in really listening to them fully when they are in their schooling years, and giving them that would be a really love and warmth. You're really listening in, not interrupting, and being there. That's a different, it builds a lot of courage, I say.
Yes.
Because what is courage? It's the ability to express. If we didn't have courage, we will not even speak with another human being. That's what it is, right? To courage to do, to go and do some action, take some steps. So it really builds in your schooling years. Unfortunately, our schools are not, conventional schools are not curated for that kind of model, but we as parents, they are still with us for those 12, 15 hours with us. Then how can we be there with love, just to listen to them? And again, at an older age, just to be there with them while they're, making those decisions, just to be supportive, is another kind of love and warmth. Of course, the hugs are valid all the way. Give your child a lot of hugs, a lot of warmth, that really reassures them, and makes them into a really rock solid human being who are ready to take on this world. So I hope you had an amazing breakthrough, insights, and mindfulness. And before we close, I have another question or two. Do stay tuned in. Do post your questions. Leave a like if you like this video. Leave a comment if you like it. Do share it with your friends, especially if they are parents and you think it will help. Do share this along, and I'm sure maybe it will give them that little bit of an answer they were looking for, and you'll be helping them a lot. So do this, and it'll also help us in our mission as we help parents along and bring this joy of parenting to them, right? And Divya, before we close, any interesting episodes that happens in your kindergarten that happened recently or something?
Yeah, there are plenty of them. When children have their free play time, they just imitate what the parents do at home. It is
Mhm.
literally like, a form of digestion. When you give them food, they digest it and make it their own energy. So,
Mhm.
free play is like a digestion of whatever they've seen in their environment. They're just, copying their parents and coming here and expressing through play. So
Mhm.
either the child is cooking or is on the telephone or working on the laptop. And after COVID we see that play has changed a lot. It is more to do with
Yeah.
driving and being on the phone, cooking and being on the phone. So they're having a wooden
And
block in their ear and they're cooking, and they're driving also, holding this block in their ear all the time. So we don't judge and say that this is right or wrong, but this is the way a child is digesting is what he's seen in his environment, and let that be. We cannot say that this is wrong or that is right, because a child is learning through all its senses,
Mhm.
and we cannot, and the child cannot understand what is right or wrong. So I would say that keep your environment
Mhm.
in such a way that he absorbs only good things.
Yeah.
There is no room for bad things.
Yeah.
And when he has picked up something bad, and he is expressing in his behavior or in his play or through drawings or through the musical way, then we don't judge the child. We try to understand where is it coming from.
Mhm. Yeah.
I hope this gave a good insight for all the parents.
Yeah, I
And I
hope it
hope,
did. And I'm sure the parents may still have some questions, still have something. I'm going to
yes,
leave this form for y'all. Do connect with us. Okay, it's a Google form. Fill up your burning question, some challenge you have. Maybe you are not comfortable to share on this platform, but you probably want to connect with us. Then do share on this. We'll be happy to connect with you. It's called the Dialogue Circle Connect, and leave your question there. And also, like I said, do share this with a friend, with a parent who you think it could help. Probably it will give them that, just that one insight that they were looking for, something that connected, and they probably will give them that light bulb moment to solve something for them. You will be helping them a lot. You'll be helping us in our mission. Give a like to this video, and do stay connected. Follow me on the YouTube channel. Follow Divya on the Facebook, My Little Bookshop, and it'll be
yeah,
wonderful.
the website link also you could post, Preetham. It's mylittlebookshop.in.
One sec, let me see if I have that.
www.mylittlebookshop.in.
Okay, let
That
me
is the website where you can find my curated storybooks and open ended toys, which are made out of natural materials like wood, cloth. We don't use any plastic materials involved of.
okay.
And I would definitely like to thank Hele for being dot in, Preetham.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Dot
no
in.
problem.
Okay,
Yeah,
what is,
so Hele has made time to be here. She is logging in from Denmark,
super.
and this is her book. It's called the Five Golden Keys, which she has written. It's available on my website. It's not available in India otherwise. So when Hele comes to India for her retreat, she gives me certain DVDs and books, which is otherwise very difficult to find in India. So please utilize that. So next time she comes to India, she will bring more books. And she has really simplified Waldorf for many of us. She travels all over the globe, mentoring caregivers, teachers, parents, and she really simplifies it. Practically, how can you bring it into life? And that is what my aim has been for the past say 5 6 years, that of course we have studied a lot of this anthroposophy and philosophy, but how do we practically address it and bring it to the child, to the parent, so they can make the best use out of it. So thank
Absolutely.
you, Preetham, for having me here. It has really been a wonderful, session, and I really hope that many parents across, the country benefit from this talk.
Absolutely, absolutely, Divya. And thank you so much for your time. I've learned a lot as well, and all your stories. And as we continue to do this, please do follow us and stay connected. Wishing you a wonderful day. Thank you for taking your time out. Wishing you a wonderful night.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone, for logging in. Good night.